Uh, hey everybody.
Don't even give us the voice. Just go straight into it.
It's the Paws post-game show. I'm Jake Gibson. That's Kevin Barral. FIU's annual beatdown against Middle Tennessee just finished. This time it was the final score of 40-6. FIU did not score in the second half. Middle Tennessee added 2 more points off a safety and another touchdown. Now FIU has a record of 4-6 with 2 games to go. Kevin, how are we feeling right now?
Not good. I think that's the easiest way to put it. Very unexpected loss. I actually felt a lot better going into this game, but things happen, and unfortunately, FIU just not able to come up with anything. They made, I want to say, FIU had 4 trips to the red zone, didn't get a single touchdown out of them. In fact, they actually had more trips to the red zone than Middle Tennessee, but obviously that's not saying too much. Kewan Jenkins, despite throwing for over 200 yards, probably one of his better games of the season, just not able to get anything going in the red zone itself. I would say there was a couple missed calls, but at the end of the day, there's no excuse. FIU lost, and they flat out got embarrassed out there. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah, as
Tough
it would
game.
turn out.
The
I'm sorry. Go
defense
ahead, Kevin.
struggled. What?
No, I was just saying. Go ahead. I accidentally cut you off.
Well, yeah, you did. Yeah, the defense struggled, man. Donovan Manuel really didn't get much going aside from Reggie Peterson, 13 total tackles. Donovan Manuel had 9. Avery Huff, who, doesn't play too much, had almost more tackles than every single player on the starting 11 or whatever. And
Yeah.
aside from that, FIU just unable to get any sort of offense going. Chris Mitchell didn't see too many targets today. He only had 2 receptions for 25 yards. Eric Rivers, who at the end of the game got injured, only had 5 receptions for 58 yards. Yeah, just a tough game for the most part. Hayden Carlson comes in, as we expected, protecting Grayson James' red shirt eligibility. But yeah, tough game for FIU. Yeah. Now you're at 4-6, and next week you're going to Arkansas and playing an SEC team. So I'm not going to say book the loss, but it's definitely looking like the season's coming to an end for FIU. And another year.
The commentators had mentioned pretty much all night that Kewan Jenkins had an okay game, but did not prevail. He did not become the Jenkins that, of course, we've seen earlier this season, for example. Still, 226 yards is not a bad stat line. 22 for 35. He did not throw a pick. I believe he was sacked a few times. Did not throw a passing touchdown either. There were no touchdowns in this game for FIU, period.
First time since the 73-0 loss to Western.
Yeah.
Also worth noting, it is the first time FIU goes 2 straight games, back-to-back games since 2022 without recording a single sack. They did not sack anyone on Jack State, and they did not sack the quarterback tonight. So the last 2 games, that was, I want to say, I wrote it in my recap, and now I forgot. It was in 2022. It was late on in the game. I think it was North Texas and FAU, where they did not record a single sack in those 2 games. So definitely a tough one for the Panthers, and now it's just got to hope you can bounce back against on Arkansas too much. Once again, they are a run-heavy team. So we'll get into that obviously in the preview because that's
something that we got contradicted with during the halftime report was that we were pleasantly surprised with how the running game was going in the first half and thought that maybe they could put the team on their backs in the second half. It didn't happen. They only ended up with 47 yards rushing. Shamari Lawrence with 31 yards. Keyshawn Owens with 20. Disappointing performance by the run game that we were kind of expecting heading into this game, but we were kind of clickbaited in the first half because of how decent they looked. But near the end of the game, they went to Hayden Carlson, like you had mentioned. He didn't really do that much either. It's tough. It's kind of a bloodbath on FIU social media right now. Fans are calling for the removal of certain people on this FIU team, and I'll just say this: I think it's a little too early. I mean, got to play a full season just to see, but I will agree that the play calling today was not exceptional on offense, and of course, Middle Tennessee had their way, however they wanted to. The numbers for Middle Tennessee's offense, is this not the best offensive performance of the season for the Blue Raiders? Off the top of my head, I think I want to say so.
I want to say so as well.
Especially against a conference opponent, that's for sure. But
that is correct. And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna check at Nick Vatiatos.
Vadiato went 18 for 25, 275 yards, 4 touchdowns. No picks. Middle Tennessee as a whole. I just had it. Okay, here we go. 427 yards of offense, 288 passing, 109 rushing. So a pretty balanced game again. Leans more towards the pass than the rush, but even the rush looked damn good today. And it's always weird, these blowout wins for FIU. They lead the time of possession by like a hair, which is kind of crazy in retrospect because it looked like the defense was on the field for most of the day. They were gassed, obviously, because if you look at FIU's how their drives went down in the second in the second half, turnover on downs. They actually scored, but they had called it back. I forget what the penalty was on that first drive where they had scored the touchdown.
Ineligible man down the field.
Okay, yeah, ineligible man downfield. Missed field goal by Chase. That sucked. A safety, which sucked even more. And then 2 punts.
You called it, man. You jinxed it.
Yeah.
You said that Middle Tennessee was the only team that had a safety this year, and then
FIU. I mean, there's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot to say about this game. It was an utter domination. We had thought it was going to be a close game. I think both of us predicted even that FIU would come out on top. But once again, I guess the fact that FIU does seem to be cursed at Floyd Stadium kind of slipped through our heads. Man, it was a rough loss. Nothing went right for this FIU team. Even the things that went right didn't lead to anything, or they were taken off the board. So
can't really. I think the best way to put it was embarrassing, and
it was.
It's truly disappointing the way this game did end up because I think we had higher expectations going into this game. This is a 2-7 team that you were not supposed to lose to whatsoever. Now they have lost to UTEP, which they shouldn't have lost to. Lost to La Tech, who they shouldn't have lost to. And they've also lost now to New Mexico State, they should have beat, honestly. So that's 3. And then 4, now this game against MTSU. You can't lose these type of games, especially against the conference. And FIU is now 4-6, and basically nothing you could do at this point. You're going up against SEC Arkansas, which they're coming off a win against UF not too long ago, and
however, Arkansas, I believe I checked earlier. Arkansas is getting blown out by Auburn right now to the tune of 48-10 at this very moment. So Auburn is putting in the work against them. That does not make me so happy because now the Razorbacks are going to head back. Oh, they already are home. They're going to next week. They're going to play pissed. They're going to play mad that they got embarrassed by Auburn, and I don't think it's going to be a good look for FIU. National television, by the way, on ESPNU. As you had mentioned, if they even want to consider a bowl game, they have to win out. If they even want to think about improving their record from last season, they have to take one of these next 2 games against Arkansas and Western Kentucky. And if they play like how they played today, there's no shot in hell that's going to happen. There's no chance that they even come close to that. And now a lot of questions are being thrown about the state of this team. Who should be the leader and quarterback? Again, I think at this point, Kevin, you just roll the season with Jenkins just to see what the hell happens.
At this point, I mean, if they don't beat at this point, I really don't know what else to say. But something needs to change in the offense. That's simply the case. You can't keep continuing doing these draw plays. I mean, why couldn't they continue to do what they did in that final drive before the half? Kejuan Jenkins really good. They were able to attack the corners, which is something that Middle Tennessee had struggled with throughout the season. But you're doing, and this is something I didn't point out at the halftime show, but they were running the ball so much, then on a 4th and 8 or 4th and 12, they were going to run the ball again. And I think it was between Shamari and Kejuan, they had a little miscommunication and the ball dropped and it was a turnover on downs. So you can't have that happen during games. And obviously we'll see what happens next season. But I mean, we're already mentioning next season. But
we still got a couple of games to go. And of course we'll be here for the previews, the halftimes, and the post games. This is what we do. But definitely the wind knocked out of our systems as far as hype goes for next game, right? That's fortunately kind of the reality we're living in. So, but at the same time, again, losing to Middle Tennessee has become an annual tradition for this FIU squad, and it sucks, but it's just kind of the way it is. By the way, there were some crazy. Well, actually, I'd like to say there were some crazy Conference USA scores, but every game felt like a blowout today. No surprise to us. Liberty beat Old Dominion 38-10. I don't think anyone's really shocked there.
I believe
Sam Houston.
Houston's winning, right?
Sam Houston won. They beat the brakes out of La Tech 42-27. So they got their first conference win. Good job to Sam Houston State.
They now have as many conference wins as FIU, so
we're FIU fans, but honestly, I'm kind of rooting for Sam Houston State a little bit on the inside. La Tech played an absolutely horrendous game. They still put up 27 points, but again, Shoemaker throws for 269 yards and a touchdown. So hell of a game to Sam Houston. Congrats to them. And this game literally just ended. New Mexico State beat Western Kentucky 30-29. We're not too surprised on that one. So
Western's now at what, 4-5?
Western is at 5-5.
Oh wow!
So another thing for
FIU beats Arkansas.
If FIU or if Western Kentucky doesn't beat Sam Houston State next week, then in 2 weeks they're going to want to clinch a bowl game against FIU. So the opposing teams we play have hella reason to absolutely blow the brakes out of us, which is not great for us. So I don't even know what the standings in Conference USA are right now. I want to say, okay, so it's Liberty at 1, New Mexico State at 2, Jacksonville State at 3, though technically they don't exist according to the NCAA, and Western Kentucky is at number 4. So as it stands right now, Liberty would host New Mexico State in the Conference USA Championship game. For what it's worth, FIU is at the bottom of Conference USA. They actually don't have the worst record per se overall, but their conference record is 1-6. Sam Houston is 1-5. So, say lovey.
Anyways,
I don't want to end this on a bad note, so let's bring up the spirits a little bit and talk a bit about what you saw from the baseball team today, Kevin. You appeared to have a fun time today at the World Series game. Just what were the sights and sounds there at the baseball field?
The Rhino went deep. So
Rhino did go yard. That was nice to see.
Rhino went deep. Cool. Sammy Fisher, new freshman, went oppo. That was one of the more impressive homers. Mm-hmm. Then you have Austin Deering, Keyshawn Fred, 2 new guys. I'm very excited for you to watch, at least very big power guys. They both went deep in today's game. And, it was a lot of fun. Tomorrow's the last game. So if you want to go out and watch some baseball, make sure to go out there. It's free to the public. Jake, I don't know if you'll end up going or not, but definitely.
We shall see, but it should be a fun one, right?
I always suggest you to go out there. And I guess, for more fun, FIU basketball heads over to the Watsco Center to take on the University of Miami. So that should be a fun game, even if they lose. But still fun to see those two teams going at it. So, yeah.
And as far as the Paws podcast goes, I do believe we have another episode on tap this upcoming week. The guest is not 100% decided yet. However, I think we do want it to be, again, basketball oriented as we get into the knee deep of this basketball season. We're probably going to have a guest on the show related to that. We can't say for certain yet. We'll let you know on social media, but I guess it is worth pointing out because, again, we are heading to the University of Miami on Monday. That Canes and the Knowles are in a dogfight.
Yes, with Alex Krutchik, and coverage is going to be wild. It's going to be pretty good. So hopefully it's a fun and close game.
Yeah. So, a very tough day today for FIU, who falls to Middle Tennessee by the score of 40-6. As you'd mentioned, FIU is 4-6 overall, 1-6 in the conference. Their next game is this upcoming Saturday against the Arkansas Razorbacks. That is at 7 p.m. and is on ESPN. So, Kevin, any final thoughts on this day?
It's gotta hopefully just. I don't even know what to say. No,
I don't even know what to say either, man.
Forget the game, move on to the next one, and hopefully you have a good week of practice. And we'll be hearing from Coach Mack probably in a couple minutes or on Tuesday when we talk to him.
Yeah, whenever we see him next. So, all right, everybody. Again, 40-6, FIU falls to Middle Tennessee. We'll catch you either first for the podcast or for the preview for Arkansas. And again, catch us on social media for coverage on Monday as FIU basketball takes on Miami. So let's get out of here. Paws up.